Greetings, traders. This is Mohan here for the Boomerang Day Trader. On today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how Boomerang Day Trader works and the methods that we use to make a very successful 90% winning trades. And we actually guarantee the software to produce 90% winning trades. So it's a very exciting first time in the history of the stock market type program where you can get in and have a very successful run with trading and eventually build yourself up to $100,000 to $200,000 a year career trading the futures market using Boomerang. First of all, what I'd like to do is explain exactly how Boomerang works. Now, I'm going to start out slow at first and explain this to you and start running through the setups, and then I'll speed up a little because I don't want this tape to run too long. It'll end up, though, just for your understanding, we're going to be going over 2 weeks of trading setups, which is from the period of 11/18/2015 to 12/2/2015. That's from November 18th through December 2nd. And in that 2 week period, there were 10 days of trading. So it's going to take a little while, but I'm going to go through it, like I said, meticulously at first so you understand the setups, and then later I'll speed up a little and just count off the winning setups so you can see it all work for you. And if we get a stop out along the way too, I'll point that out, which we always do. So first of all, it's a West Coast chart you can see down here. So the 9:30 Eastern Standard Time is represented here as 6:30, or in this case 6:45, which is where the first trade setup came in on 11/18. First of all, let me show you how this works. Boomerang consists of this thin dash. Let me switch over real quick to a pointer instead of a cursor for this part of it. It consists of this thin dashed line running up here. This is called the trade signal line, and it's very sensitive, and it's very deadly accurate, and it's used also to color the candles when it shifts. See how it shifted to red here? The candles changed to red. It shifted to green, the candles turned green. It shifted to a sort of a neutral red, we got an off red color. Then it changed to red again. I'm just showing you exactly how it works, and that's going to help us in our long time approach here to trading the markets. The second level here is the second indicator is this dotted line here called the Cobra. Actually, before I get into that, let me explain the trade channel. This arrow marks a new trade channel opening up here, and you can see the shading on the color right here, the light green shading, and then over here the red shading as it changes to this arrow shows a sell channel. So we have the trade signal line running within the buyer sell channel, and then we have this, as I mentioned, this Cobra line. We call this the Cobra. It's this dotted green line, and it'll change red if the bias changes to red as well. And then on top of that, we have what are called the dynamic trend bands, which are these two lines here that are colored with the cyan bluish colored and the magenta reddish color. That's the bullish color is the bluish color, the bearish color reddish. So the first one, dynamic trend band number 1, you have this dashed dotted line here, and what follows below that is a thicker, just a regular type of line here. So that's the two pairs of the dynamic trend bands. So all combined, you have the Cobra, the dynamic trend band number 1, and the dynamic trend band number 2. Now the way trades are set up is you get a new channel that opens up and a pullback to the signal line, which signifies where to get long on a buy side in the trade channel, and a signal line which is yellow on a sell channel where it tells you where to get short. Now this is where it gets interesting here. So we have the opening trade on 11/18. Again, I'm going to go slow and show you how this works. You have the new buy channel opening up, and there are only two trades that we take with Boomerang. There's only two trade setups. The first one, and they both have little conditions that you have to understand, very simple conditions. The first one is you either have all matching dynamic trend bands, which permissions you to take a pullback to the signal line trade, which is right in this blue dot here. And I'm going to have to switch over to the cursor in a minute so you can see the prices. And we scalp for 3 points. We're only looking for a 3-point move, which There are going to be trades that are going to move a lot more than 3 points, but we're not worried about catching the big runner or the larger scale move. That's not important, but just getting really, really good at catching the 3 points, because if you can do that, you can add contracts to that, and all of a sudden, if you can work your way up to trading 10 contracts, because a mini NAS is a small contract, we're using the mini NASDAQ here, what I consider to be the best day trading contract in the US stock indexes. But you're going to be able to, if you want to get a 30-point runner on one contract, just put on 10 contracts and get a 3-point winner, because these 3-point winners are so accurate that they're 90% guaranteed winners to come out of the software. So picture yourself having that understanding and that guarantee, and having worked with Boomerang for several months, and you're so used to it, you start saying, yeah, this is a guaranteed winner. I'm going to go ahead and put on more contracts. That's what you do as you build up. Don't do that at first, but after you build up and you get used to using Boomerang, you can do that. So here's the first winner here. You see the opening trade channel right here at this arrow, which is alarmed and marked immediately on the charts. And then you get this run up here in this pullback. You can't see it because it's under the thicker dynamic trend band number 2, but the first trade comes in as a pullback here down to this, looks like around 45.86, and shoots right up, giving you a 3-point winner. So now you're done with that trade for now. So the conditions are, by the way, all matching dynamic trend bands, which is the type of trade we had here. The second condition, and I'm going to switch now over to the regular crosshair here so you can see how we use this. The second condition is when the dynamic trend bands are getting ready to cross over within 1.5 here on the spread, or they've crossed over, or they're matching colors. Now, one of the rules is that when you have a straight run-up, which causes a steep dynamic trend band number 2, you don't take the first crossover, you wait for the second one. So you can see here we had this one winning trade here. This is all there is to Boomerang, by the way. Learning the rules and getting really good at following them. Down here are bias indicator 1 and bias indicator number 2, which are not used necessarily. They're just there as measurements for reading. Obviously, if you get a buy trade, you want to see green on the dynamic or the bias index number 1 down here, number 2, and you want to see histograms on the upside of the zero line. In this case, you have the green ones coming in here. So that's really the only conditions you're looking for here, but it's not a requirement of Boomerang. Since I developed the dynamic trend bands, most of our work with Boomerang is trend band based, and they're so accurate. They're all proprietary readings on these trend bands that are so accurate that allow us to guarantee you 90% winning trades. So here's trade number 1. Now what I'm going to be doing, by the way, is I'm going to be marking all this down, tracking it. After I finish this 2 weeks recording, we're going to speed up here pretty soon, and then I'm going to go ahead and tally everything back up for you and give you a total. Okay, so here's trade number 1 on the 18th, 11/18. That's where we're starting. Here's the first pullback, but we're waiting because it's steep here, waiting for the crossover and the second pullback in the sell channel. So you get that here. Here's the sell channel opening up here. Here's the first pullback signal line, so you go short at 96.25, and down they come to 88 for 3 points. So that's 2 winning trades in a row. So now we're waiting for the next setup. As you can see here, we got a new buy channel opening up, but we still don't have the spread between this dynamic trend band number 1 and number 2 here matching color yet, you see, or within 1.5 each other. Now they're matching right here, but on Boomerang, you're only going to take one of the first 6 pullbacks to the signal line after the channel opens, and they're all marked here. Once you get past 6 candles, there's no pullback here. Now some of our more experienced traders might have grabbed this pullback, the signal line, but technically, according to the rules, we won't take them unless they're within 6 candles from the open of the trade center. So you missed this run up here. This trade did not pan out. Like I said, unless you're one of our more experienced Boomerang traders, saw the colors matching here and grabbed this one anyway. That's for some of our, like I said, more experienced, bold traders, but we won't count that one as a sell. Now, same thing here, big steep run up. And remember the rule I just told you, very simple rules. There's only 3 simple rules, and I'll go over those as we get to them here. This is not a sell because number one, the spread here, notice that spread is not 1.5 points or less. Now notice 46.11, 46.13.5, that's 2.5 points, so no trade there. We're waiting for the spread like right here. Notice how the spread here is 12.75, 13. That's within 1.5 points. So the next sell channel, which opens up here, you're okay to take that one. You get the sell channel opening, and there was a pullback signal line right when the sell channel opening, but a lot of times it's hard to catch those. So you wait for the second one right here, 10.50, and 10.50 comes down to 3.75. Did you catch that? I want to make sure you understand exactly what's going on here so that when you buy Boomerang, you're going to be able to make these exact same trades. So now we're just waiting for the next move of the market. And of course, this is still chart so I can see in advance, but it doesn't matter because the rules with Boomerang are crystal clear. So really, once you put the trade on according to the rules and you set the 5-point stop, we use an automated 5-point stop. Look, it's necessary in these markets to have that 5-point stop to allow the wiggle room for the price to work out. Most of our trades aren't going to have much pressure on the stop. But I just want you to be aware of that. So what's the next rule here? Well, if we get all matching dynamic trend bands, that's going to tell us to take a trade. In other words, if all the dynamic trend bands match, that's the only condition where you can take a trade regardless of whether there's a crossover of the dynamic trend bands. As we see here, a new buy channel, when prices shoot up, open a new buy channel, all the dynamic trend bands are matching. Here's a pullback the signal line at 46.11 quarter, and they shoot up to 46.19 quarter. So there's your next 3-point move. You see how that works? Now keep in mind, on a small account with $5,000 to $6,000 or so in it, trading 4 mini NASDAQ contracts, very small account contract. You put 4 contracts on, you're only using about $2,000 or $3,000 in margin, less actually, according to the exchange. But with 4 contracts in that small account, you're moving at $240 per 3-point move, and then minus commission, you're netting about $230 at the retail commission. So if you get 4 winning trades a day, you're talking about, what is that? Over $900. Well, there's your $200,000 a year career right there practically. You see what I mean? So follow what I'm saying here. This is an opportunity to start a very lucrative career in trading. So now we got a very flat dynamic trend band line, and that's what tells us one of the rules is we don't trade against an extended flat dynamic trend band. So nothing to do here after we had this winner here on the matching dynamic trend bands. Then we just go ahead and wait for the next trade here. Now, that would have been okay if we had all matching trend bands on something along the way, but we didn't. And what happened was the market opened a new buy channel here, shot to the upside so fast it didn't get any pullback to the signal line, so there was no trade there. Same here. There's no trade here because why? That's right, the spread on the dynamic trend bands is not tight enough here to permission a sell signal here. So all we're doing is waiting for the next trade signal. And sure enough, what happens? You get another up move here with an opening of a buy channel. All the dynamic trend bands are matching right here. You buy this pullback to the signal line. 31.75 shoots up to 38 quarters. So there's our 4th winning trade in a row. So now we're getting into the final hour. The market runs up here, and that's the end of the session. We try to not trade too much in the final hour. Maybe you can trade up to that, but I'm just going over all the exact setups that occur throughout the whole session, and then you can develop rules yourself. Maybe you'll stop when you get 3 or 4 winning trades and you're happy with that, and that's a good idea, frankly. So now I'm going to speed up a little bit here and move ahead. Here's some pre-market action. So 6:30, this is the 19th coming in here. 6:30, which is 9:30, time of the opening of the New York Stock Exchange. And what we've got here is, if you notice right here, here's a new buy channel coming in, right? And the market's not acting choppy after the extended move. This came from pre-market too, so a lot of times after pre-market they're going to reverse, but we just follow the rules. And right here you can see the spread is 54.75, 53.75. See that? Within a point of each other, and usually you can just eyeball it. So right here is a pullback to the signal line at 59.25, and they shoot up for 3 points. See how that works? So there's our first winning trade here. Now we have a trade setup. There's only the two trade setups, which is the initial, what is called technically a momentum blast on one side of the dynamic trend bands heating up and getting ready to cross over with the rules I said, either a spread of 1.5 or less, matching dynamic trend bands. That's it. That's all you have to remember. And once you get really familiar with this, it'll be even easier. Now here's another trade here, because this is what's called a second level move. Now the qualifications for the second level move is that you have an up move in this case, or it could be a down move, a counter sell channel, which obviously isn't a sell signal because the dynamic trend bands have crossed over to the upside and they're all matching the bullish color. A counter sell move, which in the whipsaw here drove the prices down, a new channel in the same direction opens up here with this arrow. You have to have this configuration. You have to have the counter move and then the new arrow, and then the pullback to the signal line comes in right here at 61, and 61 shoots up to 67. That's your second winning trade for the day here in the first half an hour. So if you were trading 4 contracts, you're already up $460 after commission just in the first half an hour. A nice day. You might want to consider stopping, but I'm going to be going over all the setups over the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to be speeding up here pretty soon. Now we're fortunate to have this setup here because this shows one of the other rules other than the flat dynamic trend bands and the way of trading against a steep dynamic trend band, which is wait for that second level move. Here's another one of our rules. If the sell channel opens up and the prices shoot in one direction, in this case the sell channel opens, the prices shoot to the downside. If you turn your head slightly to the left, you can see a giant, what I call a fat channel here. Very wide fat channel, and we do not trade at the bottom or the top of fat channels. If you get a trade signal line here like you did, a signal on here, a yellow dot, we don't take that trade. And the reason is because there's too much movement. It went too fast in one direction. What we're going to do though, however, the other rule is that if there is an immediate crossover during that move, it does allow us to go ahead and trade up and go short back into this channel up to the Cobra, or in this case the dynamic trend band number 1. Somewhere in there you want to get short. So it'd be 56.75, and they held a 5-point stop. You can see right up here 60.75. So it held, that was 4 points. It held a 5-point stop, and then they came down from 56 down to 49. So that's your third winning trade in a row. I hope you understood that rule, and we go over these extensively every 2 weeks, every bi-weekly time period. I have these training classes, but this one today I'm specifically going over all of the exact boomerang setups over that 2-week period from 11/18 to 12/2/2015. So that's our third winning trade in the row for today. Now we're watching them, watch the market wiggle around and watch and see what it's going to do here. This was a scary trade, I know, because whenever you take this, but the permissioning factor is that there's a brand new crossover with matching dynamic trend bands. You can go ahead and short them there at the Cobra, or right in that area. So the next thing we're doing now is we're just watching the market trade. We're not doing anything until we get one of our exact signals. Now you should be pretty expert at what the rules are, because I've already given all of those to you. And what you're doing now here is, here's a buy channel coming in here, and here's a counter sell channel. So a little bit of whipsaw coming in here, but we're just watching. One of the clues is to watch the trade signal line cross over the dynamic trend band. Watch for the Cobra to cross over, and that's telling you, oh, here's a new trade buy channel opening up, and look at the tight spread here. See that tight spread? So here's your next trade signal right there. Very easy to follow, isn't it? 57.50 shoots up to 65 quarters, so there's a 3-point move there. I'm going to speed up here pretty soon. That's this 11/19, 2015. So prices shoot up and we relax. We don't care. You got to get used to that. Boomerang's going to make you 3 points, but I want to stress over and over, if you become an expert at getting 90% winning trades with Boomerang, you're not going to care about these runners because you're going to get in that trade and out of it usually very quickly, and you're going to cut your risk. And if you want to make more points, the best thing is to learn how to add more contracts on. Just be a little gutsier. Your risk is there, I know, but it's just as much risk to try to hold for the big move and watch this trade go up and give you 3 points and fizzle out and come back down again. Now you had a loss or break even when you had a winner, you see. So catching the big move is mostly ego, and it's not that important really. If you learn to trade successfully and make 80-90% winning trades, you don't need to catch the big move. It's not that big of a deal. That's usually for one lot traders who like to brag to their friends, oh, they caught the big move or whatever. It's not necessary to be successful in trading do that. So we're watching here. Here comes a new buy channel. We're watching for the color bands change. And right here, all the color bands turn green. You buy a pullback signal line, and up they go. See how that works? So now we're getting mid-session here, around 1 o'clock New York time. And isn't this wonderful? Boomerang's so simple to use, and it's like the same routine over and over. Now, trading's not easy, and trading can be made simple with Boomerang, but it's a difficult business. I'll be one of the first to tell you that here. A lot of these guys running systems and selling you stuff, they never mention that. Trading is a very difficult business, but I've designed the first and only system in the history of the stock market that gives you guaranteed 90% winning trades. So that's very valuable. So right here, notice the spread, 75 quarter, 73 quarter. That's 2 points. So it's not quite tight, but right here when they both match color, you nail it. This is sell channel here. You nail that short right here at that pullback signal line at 68.75. Collapse. Down they come here for your 6th winning trade for that day here. So now we're getting close to the final hour. And as the market wiggles around here, no trades here. We got a steep dynamic trend band from the sell-off on that session. And we're coming into the last 10 minutes of the close, so there's no trade really to take here with nothing. So we're going to the next day. 6 trades, winning trades, no losses on 11/19. So now I'm going to speed up a little bit here because I want to make sure this video doesn't run too long. But thank you for listening and watching this. It's really going to help you. If you buy Boomerang, you're going to be able to launch a fantastic trading career in the markets. So we got a big up move here on Globex, big up move. So as we come into the opening, we're just watching for our next trade setup. And there it is. What's the rule here? A new buy channel, right? Look at that. All matching dynamic trend bands, correct? Okay, so you buy this pullback right here to the signal line at 79, and up they go. Amazing. So there's your 3-point winner. Now again, market's shooting up higher, and right in here, you have a sell channel because you got the dynamic trend band is still under, number 1 is still under number 2, so we're still watching for pressure on the sell side. We get a new sell channel that opens here, and now the dynamic trend bands are matching. Now they kind of shot down lower from up here, but right here would be a trade signal for Boomerang, 80 quarter, and they come down to 80, or 80 quarter, comes down to 78 quarter for just 2 points, and then rocket ships higher and knocks the trade out at 80.50, knocks it out real fast right here for -5. So there's a stop out there. You just do the heavy whipsaw. The market was getting ready to sell off, and normally it would have been a winner, but it shot up and stopped it out. So that's the way it goes here. Now, if you notice, as soon as they ran up and stopped it out, we got a new buy channel opening, matching dynamic trend bands, a pullback to sig line at 87.50, which shoots up to 91.50. So we got another winning trade there. Two winners and then that one stop out. But the day is young. It's only the first hour of trading, so we're watching for the market. Still, the dynamic trend band, number one, is under number two, telling you there's going to be sell pressure. So here's the new sell channel opening, and here's the pullback to the sig line, which we can take because they've already crossed under to the downside. So we're not waiting for the spread or anything, or even waiting for the matching trend bands, because the dynamic trend band number one is already under number two. So there's your pullback to the sig line right there, 84.5. The high there is 85.25, just less than a point pressure, and down comes 84.25 entry, all the way down to 80.25 for a 3-point gain. So we're moving along here. The market's really flying. It really whipsawing around, and that's good. That's what we want, is action. Here's a new buy channel coming in. Prices move up here. Look at the dynamic trend bands matching right here. You see that? Pull back to the signal line, 86, and up they go to 90.75 for 3-point winner. Even if you had caught this one here, you would have still got a 3-point winner. So very active day, and another winning trade there. The dynamic trend band number one is still under number two, but because they match color, as long as the colors match, you can take that trade within the trade channel of the colored matching dynamic trend bands. But because it's under now, we're watching for another sell signal. Here comes the sell channel, right? Here comes the first pullback signal line, but the dynamic trend band number one had not changed the red. That's one of the requirements. Dynamic trend band number one has to have that magenta red color. So here it is, here and here. On these pullbacks, the signal line, you go short, and then down they come for another winning trade. So far we've had 5 winning trades on 11/20/2015 and 1 stop out. So once again, we're only mid-session here. We're watching. Now, what do you see here? Little quiz for you. You see a new buy channel opening, correct? And right in here, what do we have? All matching dynamic trend bands. So we buy a pullback to the sig line at 84.75, and up they go to 89.50 for 3 points. Actually, I mean, it ran 4 points or more, but you got 3 points within that. So that's our 6th winning trade in a row. And once again, we're just watching for the simple rules of Boomerang. Aren't they simple? They're very easy to understand. New sell channel, matching color on the dynamic trend bands, pull back the sig line at 82.75, and the prices drop down to 78.75. 3 points. That's the 7th winner in a row and 1 stop out. So now we're moving along. The market's flipping all over, and this is a sign of choppiness and whipsaw, which Boomerang's loud and clear saying stand aside when you get a green candle, gray candle, blue dot, yellow dot, buy channel arrow, sell channel arrow. It's nothing wrong. The market's just chopping around, and Boomerang will alert you to that with the color changes in the candles and everything. You just stand aside and wait for the right setup. So finally the market shoots to the downside right here. New sell channel opens as the prices shoot lower. If you turn your head to the left, you can see the fat channel forming there. So there's no trade here on this trade here because the fat channel trade, and nothing happens here until you get into the final 15 minutes. Technically there was a trade here, but just a few minutes before the close. Normally you wouldn't have taken that, but it was the 8th winner in a row, if indeed you strictly went by the fact that these were all matching colors and you bought that. But again, normally in the final hour we're not going to take that trade. So let's move on to the next day, and I'm going to start speeding up here because I got a lot of work to do to get through all these sessions here. That was 11:20, so now we're on 11:23. So again, thank you for joining with us on this video, and it's going to help you understand Boomerang. It's worth it to study this because think about it, if you go to med school, you want to become a surgeon and make 200, 300,000 a year. You're going to go to 8 years in med school, then apprentices as a surgeon under surgeons under those hot lights. You're going to have to work so hard, And all we're asking you to do is sit and watch this video and then come to a couple of our training classes after you bought Boomerang, follow the system, and you just sit in your trading room every day instead of going to an office and making a lot of phone calls and getting reports out and having to go out at meetings and go out on appointments. You're just sitting and waiting for the exact Boomerang setups, and you can make the same amount or more because you have no limit to your income with trading. You can always add contracts. How much easier is it to do that at home, stay at home with your pets and your family, or see the kids off to school, go to work trading, and it's wonderful. So here we go, new trading day coming in here, and we're watching for the market to open. And what do we got here? New buy channel, right? What do we got here? All dynamic trend bands matching. Pull back the sig line, which is instantly in a millisecond marked and alarmed right here in this dot in the signal line. 90.75 shoots straight up. So there's your first winner of the day. Watching now for this is, you can see here, this is what's called a counter move, because what happened? The sell arrow came in here and forced a counter move of prices, but it didn't change the dynamic trend band number one or number two's color at all. It didn't reset the pattern, and it didn't even change dynamic trend band number one here either. So you just ignore this. There's no trade signal here because there's no crossover or matching colors or anything. Here's a counter resurgence of the buy side move here with the new buy channel. Pull back the signal line and up they go. That's your second winning trade of the day. Now keep in mind, it's important to understand this rule. You have to have the counter sell channel. You have to have the arrow actually print and have the new buy arrow print to set up this type of trade. But that's our second type of trade that we use, and the first ones are the ones I'm describing here. So we got not really a super steep line here, but we're just kind of watching for we got a sell channel here, but there's no trade because the dynamic trend band is not quite spread far enough. It's not 1.5 or less here. So we're just kind of waiting for this to settle and see if we get a crossover in a second level trade, which we do right here with a sell channel, arrow opening up, but pull back the signal line after the crossover has occurred, and down they go for 3 points. Big move actually on this one. And that's going to happen. I recommend traders, one of the key things in trading is developing a trader's mindset, the correct mental strength and understanding, the correct psychology of trading, if you will. And I put a sign on my desk, it says, so what? Who cares? No big deal. And you constantly repeat that to yourself. If you have a situation like here, you get your 3 points and the markets just collapse and it keeps going lower and lower. Yeah, so what? Who cares? Big deal. I got my 3 points here. No problem. I did my job. The market assigned me an assignment and I get it. Now here you can see once again we get assigned another trade on a second level move. Here's a counter arrow buy, which obviously is going to fail with a steep dynamic trend band. A counter sell arrow, pull back the sig line, and there's your 3 points again. But once again, 88 runs right down here to 80 for 3 points, and then blup, they just fall apart. So look up at your sign again. So what? Who cares? No big deal. So after this steep sell-off, now notice when the prices crossed over here, we didn't get all that strange herky-jerk kind of whipsaw, which is characteristic usually of a steep downside move, and we wait for the second move to get going. Well, what happened here was it was a nice smooth move countering back on the buy side. The spread got really tight right here under 1.5. You buy the pull back the signal line and up they go for another 3 points. You see that? Pretty amazing, isn't it? So with that in mind, the session ends there. Now I'm going to try to speed up, like I said, a little bit more here so I can get all these I'm just trying to show you on the charts where Boomerang setups occurred over and over, and then we're going to tally those up at the end here. So what we got here now is here's the new opening. The dynamic trend band has already crossed on this side of the market. You see that right after the opening? Change to the blue color here, the buy color. So your pullback signal line comes right in here, right off the opening, and up they go. This is on 11/24 2015. Market goes choppy here, second level pullback, and then we get a counter really choppy market here on this lift off here. Here's a buy channel here, a pullback to the signal line 56, and 56 runs up to 60.75 right up here. You see that? It held the 5-point stop and ran up here. So it was a challenging trade, but was good for another 3-point move. And here you can see samples in here why we trade for 3 points. Sure, sometimes they keep going, but a lot of times you'll just get that 3 points and you want to be sure you're out of that trade. So here, look at this. Tight spread on the crossover. See, we're using the force of the dynamic trend bands crossovers to put that force on our trade to make our trade as safe as possible. New channel opens, pull back the signal line, and down they go for another 3 points. It's early in the session here, same thing. Strong downside move and not too much whipsaw on the crossover. So we're getting ready to watch for a buy signal because the lack of counter arrows and whipsaw and red candle. There's 2 red candles here, but as the crossover comes in, you can see there's still this blue line or blue dot pullback here. So you buy right here and up they go as the market's already in the crossover phase. You buy here and up they go for a 4th winning trade of the day. Market pushes, pushes, pushes higher. Right here the tight spread comes in, pull back to the signal line, and down they go. As long as there's no intense choppiness and whipsaw going on, you can just watch for that first smooth pullback. In many of the cases, though, you're going to get some strong whipsaw at the end of that. If it's not smooth, just wait for the second level trade or just wait for the next trade. It doesn't matter. It's no big deal. There's another one right around the corner. So they pull back here. We get a new buy channel coming in here. Here's the matching dynamic trend bands. So that tells you go ahead and trade the pullback to the signal line here at 67.50. They hold the 5-point stop and shoot up to 75. Pretty amazing. Again, this is 1124. You can look it over in your charts. And once you have boomerang charts, you're going to be able to do a lot of research and develop all kinds of ideas for how to make winning trades. Here's a market here, but it shot down so fast that there's no trade here because it's at the fat channel configuration that we talked about earlier. That's one of the rules. Don't trade against the fat channel. Most cases you'll get stopped out. Now in this case here, the pullback signal line at 65 did come down to 59, so there was a winning trade, but it's against the rules of the fat channel, so we just ignore it. Not a big deal at all. Here's a counter buy channel, matching dynamic trend bands right here. A pullback to the signal line, 71, ramps up to 77 for your 7th winning trade in a row there. Absolutely amazing. Now, coming into the final half an hour, again, matching dynamic trend bands, pull back the signal line, and down they come. So that's the 8th winning trade in a row. Now, as we progress further, let's go over this again here. Let's come into the new session right here, 6:30. Again, this is a West Coast chart, so we're working off of West Coast times. Now here's a market where the sell channel opened, and this was pre-market anyway, so we really don't want to worry about pre-market. The dynamic trend bands are crossed over, telling us there's going to be pressure on the sell side, so we're watching for a new sell channel, which comes right in here, and if you were fast, you could have caught this pullback, the signal line within the new sell channel opening and the dynamic trend bands matching. Down they come for 3 points. So these markets, you know, they can be very fast. And there was a lot of whipsaw on this day, as you can see here. When it starts happening and there are big candles that are like spiking 3 points or more. This one's 4 here. This one is 79 down to 76 points. Yikes. Just wait. Now, no matching colors here. The dynamic trend bands are trying to work out a directional move. Now we see the crossover of the dynamic trend bands matching colors, a pullback to the signal line right here at 75.75, and they shoot up to 81.50. So that's our second winning trade in the row on this session. And same thing, real strong whipsaw coming in here, and the prices shoot down in it. You wouldn't have a trade even at this signal line here. You would have had one here, but the difference is this is one of those trades where you have to use our simple modification rule where they ran down really fast. You form a fat channel, but you have an absolute brand new crossover right here. That's going to put some pressure in the market. So you trade a pullback to the Cobra, which is right here at 74.25, and down they come. Once you know the rules, it's just very routine. It's not that difficult. So new buy channel opens up. All the dynamic trend bands are matching. A pullback the signal line at 79.25, and up they go to 82.25. Screeching out 3 points there. That's why, again, you got to be willing to grab those 3 points when they show up. Goes into a choppy market phase here, and the session ends. Very choppy session on that day. This was a short session. Apparently, yeah, that was the Thanksgiving session there on the 25th. So it was a short day. We come over here to the 20. Yeah, that was this session was the 26th actually. Nothing there. It was kind of a pre-holiday, sort of some work in the early session, but it wasn't a tradable day. So now we go into the 27th here. We're starting out here on the 27th. Look at this. All matching dynamic trend bands right here. An easy trade off the opening for a short trade for 1 3-point gain there right off the opening. Coming here, we get a new buy channel. We get a crossover. Right in here, we're getting ready to cross over. There's no trade here because the spread is still not wide enough. It's important to understand we have to have a 1.5 point or less spread here to take any of these trades. We have to wait. But using the rule of the modification rule, once we get here to the crossover, the prices have ran up, but we can trade that pullback to the Cobra right here at 73.75, and they shoot up for a 3-point winner. And once again, a short day here on the 27th. So the market closed at 10 o'clock, so nothing to do there. Next day here, we opening them up right at this time here, 6:30 West Coast time. Now here's a crossover, but this one was the trade that got away because they shot down from here. There's a brand new crossover, and what you could do is trade the pullback to the Cobra under this circumstance here. If they shoot too fast, trade the pullback to the Cobra, which held, and they take them down here on the 30th. This is our first trade on the 30th here. Coming into the home stretch. You just have to know these rules. They're not hard at all to learn. I can go over them with you, but we go over them. You just go to boomerangtrader.com and watch the videos there. You'll see it over and over. It's the same routine, same rules. Here's a counter buy channel that fails. Here's a counter. Here's a sell channel back into the bias. There's a pullback at the yellow dot on the signal line, and down they come for 3 points. Again, this is the 30th. Just have to be fast and watch for when you see a counter buy channel, especially with a steep dynamic trend band. Just get your finger up here on the trigger, sell at the market. All we use is buy at the market, sell at the market, and close if we have to close out a trade for some reason. But when we put on a trade, the brackets will show up automatically and set up your 5-point stop and your 3-point winner. So once again, here we go. New buy channel. Now let's check the spread here. Look on the far right. See 73.75, 72. It's within 1 point. So you buy this pullback to signal line, and they shoot straight up. Pretty amazing, huh? Just wait for the trades and let them come to you naturally, and Boomerang will take care of the rest. Now here is a weird case where we have the dynamic trend bands crossing over here, and the pattern here is it's a flat dynamic trend band which was extended, so we don't trade against those. When the dynamic trend band number 2 is really flat like a board like this is, you're just asking for a little bit of a tricky market here. Now I know what happened here, they were matching here for a second, but then they're blinking back and on really quick in the live action. So this trade then took off to the downside, and that was it. We just had to miss this trade here. But coming back in here, same thing. Now this is that rule where they come down really hard in extended move. You got a steep dynamic trend band. If they cross over, you see the buy arrow and then a sell arrow and a buy arrow and a sell. You got to wait for the second buy level here. Now this one was still on the sell side. So here's the first one. Just wait. Here's some more whipsaw. And then here's the next buy arrow here. The second one after the market is crossed over here. Number 1 is here. Number 2, and then you get that nice secure pullback signal line with everything matching up, and up they go for the 3 points. On the, again, this is 11:30. So rolling into the second half of the session, market jumps up, starts coming back down lower. Here's the crossover here of the trade signal line and the Cobra telling you to get ready for the next trade here. Here's the spread getting tight here, but notice what happened was that the market ran down very quickly here, forming a fat channel. If you look to the left side, you can see the fat channel. So our rule on this brand new crossover here would be to trade at the Cobra, the Cobra to the dynamic trend band number 1, somewhere in there. But let's just take the Cobra price. 68.50 comes down to 62.75. You see that? Right at the new crossover, you get that next pullback to the Cobra area, and down they come for 3 points. And then that ends the session there. Okay, we're almost done here. We got 2 more sessions to do to end this this video here. So thanks for joining with me today. Let's finish up here. New market opening up, really choppy, full of whipsaw coming in right off the opening here. Prices shoot up, forming a new buy channel. We don't have the matching dynamic trend bands yet because its spread is really far away. But right here, when all the trend bands match, you buy a pullback to the signal line, and up they go. It's your first winning trade on December 1st of this year on Boomerang Day Trader. So now the market's moving higher. The spread starts thinning out here. Here's a new sell channel. The spread right here is 975 to 750. Still needs a little bit lower to go. Right here, 958. You see that? 1.5 points. So you can trade the pullback, the signal line here or here, no problem. And down they go. As the prices move lower in a big smash to the downside, we don't care. Don't worry, you get your 3 points, and they keep going. As you get good at Boomerang, you're going to get an intuitive feel because Boomerang's very intuitive. You're going to be able to catch these larger scale moves, and if you just join our training classes, I'll show you how that can be done on a steady basis as well. But most of the time, even myself, after trading 25 years, I don't care. If I get my 3 points, I'm quite happy. I just wait for the next setup, which I know will be right around the corner. Here's a new buy channel that just takes off and keeps rolling. We didn't have any pullbacks, so nothing to do there. Nothing to do here because the market's really spreading out pretty wide here. Nothing to do here. We get the crossover, but everything's already done here, so we're just waiting for the next trade setup. Again, this was a little bit more of a tricky day here. We're a lot of whipsaw, a lot of spiky moves, moving everywhere. No matching dynamic trend bands until we get to right here, and then they just kind of take off. So again, no trade setup there. But look, here we have matching trend bands within a 1.5 of each other. So sell here at the pullback the signal line, and down they go on 12-1 for our third winning trade here. So now later in the session, the market's getting a little smoother, and again we have a buy channel opening up here with the arrow. We're just watching for the signal line to cross over, the Cobra, and we're watching for the trend bands to match, which they do right here. See that? Dynamic 1 and number 2 both matching colors. Pull back the signal line without any pressure on the stop. They shoot straight up. Winning trade number 4 there. And then the market just keeps going up into the close. Just fantastic move up to the into the close. For some reason, they just had it all out for getting that market moving up there. So we're coming in the last day of the 2-week session here on 12/2, and that's what I'm just trying to go over today and show you how Boomerang works and how well you can do trading with Boomerang. So here's the opening here. Prices rocket ship up here. All the dynamic trend bands are matching. A pullback to the sig line here at 28, and up they go for your first winning trade of that day on 12/2. Prices make a herky-jerk reaction, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to keep your eyes on the ball here, and look at the counter sell channel, counter buy channel. So the minute you see in a brand new crossover in an uptrend like this, a counter sell channel, stay ready to trade that next blue dot, and there they are. Boom, right there. It shoots straight up for your second winning trade of the row. Now again, markets are fast, they're tricky, but once you get used to these rules and you know how to follow them, you're going to do very, very well with Boomerang. No trade here. Price is shot down, and it's really kind of an up-leaning dynamic trend band. So no selling here with this up-leaning trend band here. Price is going down before the spread tightens. They're shooting back up again. And right in here, you got a buy arrow. And right here you have the matching dynamic trend bands at 34.25. So 34.25, it was a little bit scary here, but 34.25 ended up shooting all the way up to 39.75. So there's your third winning trade in a row. Again, you got to be brave to be a trader. You got to be a powerful ninja warrior. Whether you're using our e-signal program or using Ninja Trader, you're going to have to be a Ninja Trader warrior and have that correct understanding and stance and way to deal with the markets. Here's notice the trend band number 1 is under trend band number 2. So as soon as we get a sell channel, we can go ahead and short as long as number 1 turns the red color. Here comes a new sell channel. There's a dynamic trend band here and here turning red. You go short, and down they come for the fourth winning trade in a row. And we're just early mid-session here, but boy, it is full of whipsaw and choppiness. Look at them whipping back to the upside, whipping them back down lower. Big extended candle here. Look at this thing here, 24.75 up to 32. My God, like a 7.8 point candle whipsawing up. But look though, it forms a buy channel, but regardless, just following the rules, here's the crossover of the dynamic trend bands. Here's your pullback to the sig line right here on this red candle at 28, and 28 shoots up to 34. So that's your fifth winning trade in a row. Pretty amazing, isn't it? And once again, you're getting a sell channel, counter buy channel, a sell channel. All the trend bands are matching, and right here, shoot them to the downside for your sixth winning trade in a row on 12/2/2015. And the market just gets obliterated in the close. No one knows when that's going to happen. I mean, you can get hints, but just the way the thing goes. And then coming in the final hour here, the crossover is there. The colors matching. Once they're crossed over, you only need matching trend band. Or you only need dynamic trend band number 1 to be the green color. As long as the upside crossover is there, pull back the sig line, and up they go for your 3 points. You want to try to get to know the rules very intimately so you can trade these setups without any problem. And then coming to the close, it's just a whipsaw flurry here, and that completes our analysis of the 2 weeks of trading setups right during that Thanksgiving holiday from 11/18 to 12/2. So what we're going to do now is do a tally of all the trade setups. Okay, here's the breakdown for you. I'm going to go over it in detail. On 11/18, we had four winning setups, no losses. On 11/19, we had six winning trades, no losses. On 11/20, we had eight trade setups, winning trade setups, and one loss for 5 points. On 11/23, we had four winning trade setups, no losses. On 11/24, we had eight winning trade setups, no losses. On 11/25, four winning trade setups, no losses. 11/27, two winning trades setups and no losses. That was a slower holiday period. 11:30, five winning trade setups, no losses. 12/1, four winning trade setups, no losses, and 12/2, seven winning trade setups and no losses. So there was only one loss out of a total of 53 total setups. That's a 98% winning trade ratio. And again, as I mentioned, our software is guaranteed to make a 90% winning trade setups. That doesn't mean you'll take all the trades, it doesn't mean you'll catch them all, but it means our software will produce those setups for you on the US stock indexes. Now, the setups in gold and crude and other contracts are very high as well, but I haven't fully tested all those. But that's what we offer the guarantee on those US stock indexes that are very effective. Now, on one trade setup, I'm going to base this on four contracts because it's a small account. It's like a $5, $6, $7,000 account, which is what most traders are trading with that are coming in on the retail side. Using an average of $4 for round turn commission, which is very reasonable for the industry on one mini NASDAQ. I'm basing it on NASDAQ. Four contracts, one 3-point setup is $240 minus $16 commission. That's $224 every time you make a winning trade setup and you make a trade within that setup. $224. Okay, times 53 trade setups over this 2-week period with 10 sessions, one which was a half session. The total is $11,872 on a four contract account using about 5,000, 6,000. Now the only amount you're actually only using technically $2,000 actual margin out of your account to trade those accounts, trade those four contracts. One loss trade, which is a total with commission of $416. So the grand net total of all those sessions in the last 2 weeks there was $11,726 if you took all the trade setups and you got in all those at the right time with the right following the rules and everything correctly. So $11,776 net total, 98% win ratio, and for you investors, investor types, that's about a 600% return on margin. So if you like percentages, that's what it amounts to, just a little under 600% return on margin. Pretty amazing. So that's our setups for the day, and I'm going over those 2 weeks. I really thank you for joining with us. I hope you can purchase Boomerang and start joining our large group of traders as winners. We've been one of the top selling systems on NinjaTrader for over 5 years in a row with thousands of licenses going out. So again, I hope you'll join with us. I'll sure look forward to it. And thank you very much for joining with us. If you have any questions on anything here today, you can reach me at mohan@daytradersaction.com. mohan@daytradersaction.com. And you can also reach me through the websites either daytradersaction.com or boomerangtrader.com. So thanks again for joining with us, and have a nice rest of the afternoon.